Hello YouTube, this is Morgan, Airspeed Prime here at my next Naruto Shippuden episode review. This one's going to be for episode 487, Sasuke's Story Daylight Part 4, Ketsuryugan. Link in the description to watch the episode if you haven't seen it yet, but let's get into the review. So yeah, this was the kind of big explanation episode. We didn't really get a lot of plot progression here. We just kind of had a fight, reveal about Chino, and then kind of explaining the reveal that was, quite shocking in the end. So in that sense, it was a kind of interesting episode in that it finally kind of connected the dots of this mystery-focused arc and kind of brought it together. And now it leaves I think the next episode is going to be the last episode of the arc to just kind of bring the overall story, Sasuke's aspect of the story, Chino's part of the story, kind of to an end, just those two really involved. And I think that's going to make it interesting. Was this the best episode of Naruto ever? No. But I still enjoyed it. I liked how it was done. We've obviously had so many kind of tragic backstories for characters as kind of explanations for villains. Was this up there with the best? Not really, but it still was interesting because I think the one thing I'm excited about going to the next episode for, not that I'm not excited for it, is just that we are now going to basically have Sasuke facing someone who effectively took the same path that he did. In that Chino, at this point in time, if she is going to fight Sasuke here for revenge against the Uchiha, she is effectively kind of representing to Sasuke what he was for the majority of the series. And I think it's going to be interesting to see how he handles that. Does he be understanding about how she feels, given that he felt that way similarly? Or will he fight her as a threat to the Leaf Village, or what? Because that's the one thing I think this arc has really done well. At least in the first 3 episodes, it wasn't really a focus here. Just bring up the idea of, does Sasuke actually care about these things? Has his time basically being a villain for much of the series kind of really affected him, and that can he not empathize with people anymore? Does he not care? But I think this arc has shown that he does, and does get understanding out of these things, and so how he handles fighting Chino potentially in the next episode is going to be fascinating, because how is he going to take her down without wanting to hurt her, wanting to kill her, but knowing that she is such a threat because of her Ketsuryugan powers. That's kind of what has me interested going into the next episode, because while I wouldn't say Chino's backstory was amazing in terms of oh, she's the most tragic character of all time, it still was a tragic backstory, just knowing that she's kind of from this clan that we only learn about in this arc because it is kind of almost lost to history, the existence of this clan, because it was pre-ninja villages when the Uchiha kind of led to the Chinoke clan kind of going out of existence. And that's where the revenge comes from, and that the Uchiha clan, which later becomes persecuted this clan, and they are kind of gone from existence. They, as we get explained here, lived a terrible life in Hell Valley, where most of the water was kind of boiling hot. There was barely any plant growth or anything like that. They had to hunt birds that flew by. That was their only source of food. And she only knows this about her clan, that she is a member of the clan, just basically through the history. She doesn't know anything about her parents, her family, her childhood. And so her whole thing is that because of what happened to my clan, I know nothing about my past. Which, obviously, there's the whole comparison between Sasuke, having his life his family taken away because of the whole Itachi incident, and then Naruto as he growing up without parents. But then you have this idea of her who kind of had a tough life and also didn't know about that. It's kind of in a way kind of worse, but still very similar things going on. I like the explanation. They didn't go crazy in depth into the history and kind of showing us Uchiha versus Chinoki clan fights, but it was still, I think, interesting enough, kind of learning more history about the Naruto universe, and that okay, there was this other clan, the Uchiha, basically took them out during the era of warring clans. But I suppose talking about the reveal of Chino as actually being the Ketsuryugan user, and not Fushin. That was interesting. Like, until the fight with Fushin came to an end, and it was clear that the fight was over, and he didn't use the Ketsuryugan, I was convinced that he was the Ketsuryugan user. And so, once that fight ended and he didn't use it, I was like, okay, so it kind of has to be Chino, just kind of by default, because it's very clear from the first couple of episodes that she was there and meant to be somewhat important as a character, but she hadn't done anything important yet, so it only made sense that it was her. But I still think, like, based on how the arc started, it is a bit of a shocking reveal. Now, admittedly, much of that is because they gave really no setup in earlier episodes to suggest this. Outside of her mentioning that she knows what it is to be a victim and, like, that sort of, that she's been through something, but I didn't make the connection because obviously I think at that point they hadn't fully revealed the whole thing about the Chinoke clan, so we didn't really know when she said that line, like, to make the connections. But there was a little bit of setup, but not a ton. Hence why the majority of this episode had to be basically connecting the dots. How we went from, like, here to suddenly Chino and what was it, Nawaki or something like that was the way Fushin, the way he was, the name he was going under. How one they came together and all this stuff. So kind of the reveal that the mansion owner guy who participates in the kind of fights where they use the ninjas as slaves, basically, he took her, kind of was relatively nice to her because she was powerful, and obviously he used them as guards, and he won Fushin by using Chino in a fight for the first time. So that's how those two met. And they kind of, you have that a very kind of emotional moment where they both talk about kind of what they come from. I was kind of slightly confused in that, like, have they ever revealed, like, what they seem to suggest there that Fushin has a Kekkei Genkai. Is it explosion style, or are they trying to suggest that his hurricane tornado thing is a Kekkei Genkai? Because they didn't really make it clear, like, what exactly the situation was. Like, his master only seemed interested in Kekkei Genkai users, so I wasn't really clear on what exactly his Kekkei Genkai was, because tornado style is just wind style, so unless it was meant to be some wind and water combination that made it more weather focused, I wasn't exactly sure what it was. But because he seemed to, they highlighted him as like the hurricane guy, like it was kind of hurricane style, I could sort of get behind that, and that hurricane you would more associate with a kind of rainstorm type thing. That's why it was potentially powerful. In the comments, let me know if we got confirmation on what his Kekkei Genkai was, but I wasn't fully sure about that. But they bonded over basically their experiences of being kind of separated from everyone else because of their Kekkei Genkai, and kind of came together. They formed the Lightning Gang, and kind of with the village that we saw previously that was attacked with Amino and her father, that was the village that welcomed them, the first one that kind of really used them for protection and kind of welcomed them. And we saw the betrayal actually later happen, that the kind of reveal about Fushin, that Fushin was betrayed by the village and that's why he would attack. And now we get the reveal that actually Chino was one of the injured people that Fushin was trying to heal as part of this incident that happened with the Mist Village. And so her being the one with the power, that's why she took revenge against that place. And so it makes that kind of moment of her basically being the one to kill Amino all the more kind of villainous, in that she talked in those early episodes about how much she cared about Amino, that she had someone who cared for her, that she almost kind of saw her as like a little bit of a mother kind of character. And so then now the reveal that she actually just flat out killed Amino for revenge because they didn't heal the other members of the Lightning Gang. It's really, really dark and kind of crazy, like reflecting on like what's actually happened in this arc. So that was interesting. And then obviously after this betrayal, her and Fushin, the only two left of the Lightning Gang, go to Hell Valley, and it's at this point where the kind of real turn happens. They're attacked again, and she learns about the true power of her Ketsuryugan. Before it was kind of just a genjutsu type thing, but then it's kind of revealed that when you activate the Ketsuryugan and injure someone and draw blood, you can like make them explode basically, as we saw there. So that's kind of cool, like we finally got the reveal of like, okay, this is a kind of special power of the Ketsuryugan that you can use. And it's from there, having seen where she kind of came from, Hell Valley, that kind of wanted her to kind of get revenge, because she saw the corpses there, the fact that the living conditions of this place, and just wanted a revenge, because obviously their master's kind of archives, they found out about the whole Uchiha thing. So that's where the fundamental plot comes from. I think the last thing we fully need revealed is like how much does she know about the Uchiha clan? Like, does she for sure know that Sasuke is the last Uchiha, or what? I suppose is the interesting thing. Just with regards to the timeline of when their story happens in relation to like the fourth Shinobi Ninja War type thing. Is she aware of like the Uchiha massacre that happened, that Itachi was alive up until like a couple of years ago, or what? That's the last bit of the story that needs to be explained, like how much she actually knows about the Uchiha. And I think it's pretty clear that she's wanting revenge against Sasuke specifically, and that's why she would target the village, and kind of go with him and so on. But in general, like, I thought the episode was kind of well done, and then you kind of ended with the kind of confrontation of Chino and Sasuke, and it apparently about to go down. That, you know, she kind of questions, you know, like, I'm surprised you actually care, and we're obviously setting up the idea of how is Sasuke going to handle this fight? Is he going to fight as hard as he can and try and win, potentially kill her, injure her, or is he going to kind of try and end the fight without actually harming her, because he understands how she feels and that she is just consumed by rage, and I suppose try and do what Naruto did for him for her is, I suppose, maybe what they're going to try and go for here. But I'm very interested to see the end of the arc in the next episode. I'm not sure if we have another episode next week. I was pretty much convinced that we didn't have an episode today, so I assume the break week is next week and then we come back, because the Shikamaru arc starts on the 12th. So that would, I think, roughly make sense. Yeah, the 27th would be the off week, and then we come back on the 3rd. I don't know, I'm mixing it up. Maybe there is an episode next week. Either way, I'll review it when the 5th episode comes out. Yeah, I think that's basically all I want to say in the review. In the comments, let me know what your thoughts were on the episode and the review. And then I'll just say that I will have a review for Naruto Itachi's Story Midnight, the second Itachi novel. Just came out in English 2 days ago. I'll hopefully have a review for this tomorrow. I have to get around to reading it first, but I will review it once I read it. So yeah, link in the description again to the episode if you haven't seen it yet, plus my Twitter and Tumblr if you want to follow me on social media, and also my PayPal donation link, and also my Patreon campaign if you want to help support my channel. That's been the video. Thanks for watching, and bye.